Ever since 2018, DC Comics scalers have completely hated my guts just for trying to tell people that it's very clear that what DC Comics was doing was so obvious to the whole world. All you had to do was actually go read the comics, and they're trying to phase out Superman and the classic version of the DC multiverse, which is the Prime Multiverse, the one you know from all the movies and the stories going on in the mainstream comics and all the tie-ins, all that stuff. All of that is going into public domain in the 2030s, which is only about 8 years away. Sometime between 2030 and 2040, Batman, Superman, The Flash, all these characters are going into the public domain, meaning anybody can now use those characters freely in their movies and their books or whatever they want. And it's clear that DC Comics created the Metalverse, which is the Scott Snyder series, as a duplicate multiverse, so they can have their copyright for the next 100 years with all of those new characters in it. And they're phasing out the old ones because they're going into public domain very, very soon.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
So that's why the Snyder series Perpetual Multiverse was so different and had a completely different historical account than the classic Orrery of Worlds, because the Orrery of Worlds was the Prime Multiverse. Just like how there's a Prime Universe or a Prime Timeline in DC Comics, there was a Prime Multiverse too. If you go back and read all the author interviews and the guidebooks, they tell you that the local Orrery, Local 52, is just the Local 52. It's just the most known 52 universes or canons, depending on which context you want to use. If you're using Grant Morrison's context, that means all the worlds are different author canons, and they're all their own cosmologies inside of one local area. But of course, the other authors after that and before that never really referenced it that way. They do a completely different thing. They strip out the meta, but all of that stuff is now being phased out because of public domain. I've been trying to tell people this since 2018, and a lot of DC scalers hated me for it. I'm trying to tell you, like, in 2019, even Dr. Manhattan drops in to the dark multiverse in the Perpetuaverse area, and he's like, there's something going on here. Clearly, this place was a byproduct of somebody altering Earth Zero. So it's not like a brand new thing. And DC Comics has alluded to this over the years, and we really get our final look at everything in 2023's Dark Crisis, the Dark Army, which is the tie-in issue to the very last issue of Dark Crisis. We find out that the entire exposition of Incarnate 4 with the darkness and the light is completely bogus, and Dr. Light finds out the truth, and so does Dr. Multiverse, who gave us that exposition in Incarnate 4. And of course, all the DC scalers ran with this, oh my goodness, the light is the overvoid and it was inside of the great darkness. No, that is not what this was. And the Perpetuaverse, oh my goodness, the Perpetuaverse, it's the same thing as the Orrery of Worlds. The Orrery of Worlds was made by Perpetua. No, it wasn't. The comic book shows us that the old Orrery of Worlds multiverse used to have infinite multiverses inside of it. Then they were kicked out, and only the local 52 or so was left over after Final Crisis. After Final Crisis and Nick Wotan revised the cosmology, something shifted. The entire cosmology shifted. Now there's a new multiverse, and the new Prime Multiverse was the Perpetuaverse, which was created in, roughly 2018 by those authors, and they're trying to shift it away from the original multiverse that was the original Prime Multiverse canon of the DCU. It's no longer that. It's no longer the Orrery. And if you read Dark Crisis, The Dark Army, they show you that the Perpetual Multiverse and the Orrery of Worlds are completely separate locations, and both of them are floating in bleed space. The entire multiverse. It's not that we're looking at a window inside of the Perpetual Multiverse during these scenes. Outside of the Perpetual Multiverse is bleed space, another higher form, which Batman and both Batman and Lex Luthor discovered there's more stuff going on outside of the greater Omniverse, which is outside of the Perpetuaverse. And above that, like 3 layers above the Perpetual Multiverse, is more bleed space, a higher form of it. And located there is the original Orrery of Worlds from like the Final Crisis series and that era of comics. So they're telling you in this issue that the light that was referenced in Incarnate 4 is actually Dr. Light, being cast backwards to before there was a creation there, before Perpetua even made her multiverse. In the darkness was Dr. Light, lighting up the darkness. But Dr. Light was sent there by the Orrery of Worlds to handle the Great Darkness. The embodiment of the Orrery of Worlds was the cosmic armor in the original Final Crisis series. That's how the Overvoid saw all of existence at the time. So it was the cosmic armor Superman that sent Dr. Light back to before there was a Perpetual Multiverse with nothing there. And she lit up the nothing, the darkness, with herself. She was the light. That's what the comic book said. So this is DC Comics alluding to the idea that it was the old Orrery of Worlds, the cosmic armor Superman, which is the embodiment of all story, allowing the brand new storyverse, the new canon of the DCU, to flourish and be created by Dr. Light. It has to start with something beautiful and something good. So basically what happened here is because the divine radiance of the cosmic armor, being that divine radiance itself personified, needs something else that is personified by divine radiance, which was Dr. Light. And it's the old canon stories paving the way for the new story, saying, yes, here, take the new mantle of the DCU and do good things with it.
This country is safe against Superman, thanks to you.
No, sir. Don't thank me, Warden. We're all part of the same team. Night.